Hey guys, hope that you guys are doing amazing. So today, I'm really excited. All right, we have a special live today. So I'm just waiting on Ashley to come in. All right, that is my Detoxify Your Womb clients, and to share with you guys her journey in taking the Detoxify Your Womb program, and also her journey in being able going from bleeding 21 days a month to now just having normal healthy menstrual cycles. Okay, and yes, hey, okay, she's in, so I'm gonna add you in a second, Ashley, but I just want to tell everybody that this is so important. This is such an important life because a lot of women are going through this as far as having reproductive health issues, heavy bleeding, suffering in silence, especially when it comes to Black women. But you'll be surprised, like this is like a global issue when it comes to women, and our wombs are just suffering. And we think that we have to deal with these for the rest of our lives. We think they were in our family and that this is our portion, and it's not our portion. So I just want to reiterate that when it comes to, heavy bleeding, when it comes to cysts, when it comes to fibroids, you do not have to suffer from these, okay? So let's talk about Ashley, because her transformation in the Detoxify Your Womb program has been phenomenal. This is my client, all right? So let's get to it. Hey, Empress, happy moon cycle day. I didn't even know it was moons. Okay, happy moon cycle day. Okay, so let's see. How do I get her up here? Okay, so I know how to do this when it comes to, okay, there we go. Hopefully that works. And yeah, so I'm just extremely excited to have her on. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Ashley? If you guys can hear both of us, please put a one in the chat. Okay, how are you?
I'm good. I'm relaxing over here in Florida. How are you,
I'm
Coach?
doing great. I'm doing great. I'm so happy that you're able to be on this live with me. And again, it's going to inspire so many women who are going through heavy bleeding, who are going through
Yeah.
cysts, who are going through all these reproductive health issues, to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You do not have to suffer, for the rest of your life. You don't when it comes to these, right? So you don't have to sit there and wait. Oh, I'm gonna just wait till menopause. No, you can have healing now. Okay. So let's talk about it. Okay. So Ashley is my Detoxify Your Womb client. Okay. I'm gonna let her tell her story about how she was bleeding 21 days a month, every single month for years. Okay. And how that affected her life, and how that had an effect on her health as well. So go ahead, Ashley, tell your story. And yes.
Hey, Empress. So I am Ashley Marie, aka Coach A Marie. I've been on these business streets for some time. 2023 for me was a year that I got fed up. Right, that's the best way I can explain to Coach Sasha. I think that for as long as I can remember, from starting my menstruation, learning the different phases of the cycle, I tell people all the time, all I knew is now you've hit puberty, just don't have babies, and whatever. We've heard that, right? From the inception, really, over the years, I've bled. It built up to 21 days out of a 31 days, sometimes in the month. And I mean, it was excruciating. It was painful. It was something that I probably knew better than anything else. I've been out in and out of the hospital, in and out of physicians, and I used to be a professional athlete. So imagine what that felt like when you had to compete and a team was depending on you. Imagine what that felt like when I became a mother, and then I had to go and tell my daughter that pretty much this runs in the family, and this is really what she can expect. And cramps, bleeding, frustration, overwhelm. I just got sick and tired, y'all. I was Googling, and I'm gonna lie to you, Coach Sasha. I was pulling straws together trying to get answers, because the thing about it, all the symptoms, me not being an expert, I'm just, one day I'm Googling this. What about cramps? And the next day I'm Googling the bleeding. And I say sometimes the clots were as big as babies. I share my story and tell people how it just feels like gravity is pulling you down, literally beyond the floor. It was not like to the floor. I think sometimes I literally was weeping and balled up and curled up. And so I went on a health journey. And so 2023, it all boiled over. I was taking a journey down my steps one day, and I had been probably suffering for a couple of days and passed out. My daughter's here with me, and she's looking like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And you kind of blow it off, right? Because you're not thinking it's as serious If we want to convey anything, that is a serious thing when you get to the point where your body responds like that. And so that's been my life since the inception, Coach Sasha, of my whole menstrual period. I was coached into this season by family, by aunts, by aunties. They told me this is just how it is, this is how it's going to be. And I beg to differ. I said, not for me in my house. And
Yes.
then I had a collision with you.
Yes. Yes. So how many years were you going through that as far as heavily bleeding for 21 days, like most of the month, and
Yeah.
cramping heavily? How many
Mo-
years?
Most of my adult life, I have two daughters.
Wow.
Most of it. So I have two daughters, Coach Sasha. One that is 16. I know I look like a 16-year-old. I know. Ooh, y'all so sweet. Okay. 16. And then I have a daughter who's 7. And
Wow.
so as long as I can remember, even up until when I got pregnant with her, I remember bleeding like that. I remember bleeding through. You know how sometimes they have like false positives, whatever.
Yeah.
I still had bleeding coming through. That is the
Wow.
intensity of what it was. But again, on all sides, I asked the questions and nobody had the answers. That's what I want to emphasize. I feel like there are a lot of women who have these questions and we're embarrassed to talk about it. Like, I mean, talking about it now, I'm free, but I'm on the other side. We'll talk about that too. But as I was going through it, I just remember, because I mean, how do you tell somebody like, is this what it's like for you? And they're looking like 21 days. How are you standing? Like, how are you? We'll get to it. But, you know, so when you do try to open up and share your story, people just felt like I was crazy. They were like, there's no way you're bleeding 21 days out of the month. I'm like, Coach Sasha, I probably tried every birth control on everyone that's been designed.
Wow.
I can tell you the ins, I can tell you the outs, I can tell you how it impacted my life. Because again, I was searching for answers, right? Not necessarily the resolution. And we'll talk about that tonight too. But I
Yes.
eventually got to a point that I was like, there's no way I can tell my daughter that she's gonna have to deal with this. This is crazy.
Yes. Absolutely crazy. Like, I'm so happy that you found the Detoxify Your Womb program, because to, go through from birth control and
Yeah.
have doctors not do anything for you, and
No.
now experience, I'm gonna let you tell it though, 3-day cycles, normal
3
cycles, and
days.
not, yes, and not bleeding for 21 days. And you'll be surprised how many women are going through this. There's
Yeah.
women, even women that are bleeding for 7 days heavily and crampy, thinking that that's normal, even
Yeah.
10 days and thinking that that's normal. I hear so, because you guys, because of what I do, I hear so many stories. I'm a holistic woman wellness specialist, in case you're watching me for the first time. Oh,
Yeah.
and hi, Monique. You, so I hear stories like this all the time. Like, women are suffering when it comes to that. And
Yeah.
they're still having to show up in the world. They're still having to work.
Yes.
They're still having to do all these things, with all of these issues in the background, and they're suffering in
Mhm.
silence, right? And this is why
Yeah.
you have a lot of women dealing with depression, anxiety, and all these hormonal issues,
Come
not
on.
knowing that they're lowering their quality of life. Like,
Oh yeah.
there are things that we could do naturally to get rid of this problem. You don't have to suffer, ladies. You don't have to
No.
suffer. This is a hormonal problem or reproductive health issue, right? You don't have
Yes.
to suffer, and you don't have to,
Yes.
think that you have to go through surgery or any, like, drastic forms in order to
Yes.
find healing. So I'm gonna let you tell it. How are things now?
Well, let
Before
me
we
go
get
back
into,
because
yes.
I think that, you know, how I would have gotten to that point
Mhm.
is because the pain was so dire, Coach Sasha, that I think that I didn't really care what the physician said, right? When you think about your pain tolerance being over 10, right? We measured, so tell us on a scale of 1 to 10. It's like, no, I'm on a scale of 20, 25. I'm going to take the first train that's coming. But we're not asking the questions. Yes, you're going to temporarily take care of that, but what's going to happen to me in the back end? I can successfully say that as a graduate of this program, I don't have any of the after or repercussions that I would have had I had listened to what they said. So I want to make sure that's the point. For me, it's not just the lighting cycles. Let me tell you, baby, I mean, literally, this is how much was like. I want y'all to visually see it. Like, it felt like a baby was coming down my womb. It felt like a baby was pressing down on my womb. It was so uncomfortable and it
Wow.
was embarrassing. And so for me now, I do it because my coach says, I want you to tell me how many days in between your period, but I have no need. Okay. My life is free. I have no need to do that anymore, Coach Sasha. I have no need to go to the store. I'm not going to call them out and get those thick pads. I'm talking about the thick from the front to the back, to the sides, to the tape, to the, y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all know what I'm
Yes.
talking
No
about, put it in
more
the
of
comments.
those. Yes.
No more of those. And then no more of canceling vacations and trips and not knowing how you're going to feel. I don't want to graze over mental health. Like I told Coach Sasha, nothing is off limits. Like my platform in 2024 is going to be about that because we're so caught up in everybody wants finances. I knew that for me, regaining my health back, it was going to be the thing that took me to the next level. And so when I
Absolutely.
talked to her and I gave her exactly what I was going through, she said, oh no, you need to skip the course. You need to work with me one-on-one. I trust her. I believe her. And so a lot of times when I take the stage and I share my story, you don't need to play with mental health. When you're talking about bleeding every single day, I talk to women all the time about not wanting to get out of bed and not feeling good about yourself, not wanting to get dressed, feeling like, what is all this for? And we're not just talking about the bleeding and the periods. Also found out in the process of this, Coach Sasha, that I had a cyst.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
had a whole cyst sitting, and nobody had answers for me. It was just like, oh, it's not a big deal. Schedule an appointment. The first appointment that I go to, Coach Sasha, now we've gotten to a $30,000 operation, because they were telling me about a clinical trial. So I'm saying that because I know some of you guys are out there scared. I know some of you guys are out there because it's not a socially acceptable conversation similar to mental health. But I want to talk to y'all a little bit tonight about my post-traumatic growth. Okay, let me tell you what that life looks like. That life looks like for me, my skin is glowing. I am in the best shape of my life. I've accepted multiple speaking engagements over the last 2 years. Y'all, I have been a coach. That means that I'm pouring out to women. Do you know how much energy you need to do that? Yes. Look at somebody.
Absolutely.
Tell me what that says. Yes, it is.
Yes.
And we're going to
It will
bust the
give you
doors
a
wide open.
yes, yes. When you're
Yes.
talking about heavily bleeding every single day, you guys have to understand, you ladies have to understand, this is not normal. We cannot normalize that. So you're losing a lot of nutrients, you're losing minerals, you're losing iron. So I'm so happy, Miss Diggs, that you're here and you're, gaining from this information and knowing, as somebody, I'm a holistic woman wellness specialist. I went through these things as well. Over a decade ago, I was that same person thinking that this is normal, bleeding for, 5 to 7 days and heavily, and having to buy these huge packs of, overnight pads and, spending so much money on all these pads. Now I just buy like regular and
Yes.
just one little pack and that's it,
Yes.
right? That's
Yes.
good enough for the whole cycle. And same thing with
Okay.
Ashley, because she took my Detoxify Your Womb program. We don't have to suffer. We have to stop making ourselves suffer, okay?
I'm
So
laughing. I'm laughing, but I promise you guys, when I came to her, I was not laughing. When I came to Coach Sasha, I was in tears. When I came to her, I was embarrassed. When I came to her, and I told her, lowest point. I know that it's not cool for coaches to take the platform because it's all about telling y'all how we had it all together. I'm telling you that this thing had me shook, okay? I was concerned. I was nervous. I felt like it's now or never, right? You talking about being hooked up, and I was telling Coach Sasha, I need to send her the video. Being hooked up. Whenever you get to a point where you need a blood transfusion, whenever you get to a point, I was losing, I think I told Coach Sasha, about a cup of blood per hour. That's a lot of blood. Do you see her face? The physicians was looking at me like, we don't even know how you're up here. I drove myself to the ER, y'all. Drove myself. But that's what we do as mothers. That is what we do. So I'm telling you, if that is you and you're under the sound of my voice, you better make sure you get in her inbox. You need to be dropping your questions, because I wish I had known her, like she said, a decade ago. How much
yes.
different would my life be? What opportunities would I have said yes to that I had to say no to? Yes, she said, just had one.
Absolutely. And we
Levels was
think
at 5.
this is normal. Like I hear so many women are having blood transfusions, iron infusions. Ladies, this is not normal,
No.
right? This heavy bleeding is a reflection of number
Ooh,
one, your diet, your lifestyle, how you're living your life. And it's also letting you know that you've totally neglected yourself as a woman. So
ooh.
it's a lot of women who are dealing with these heavy cycles, right? They're also, overly stressed, they're overly
Yes,
working, right? They're not
all
paying
of it.
attention to, exactly, they're not paying attention to themselves, their hormonal health. They've totally neglected themselves. So this is your body letting you know, giving you signs, and we don't take these signs, and this is the problem. And when we don't take these signs, it gets worse. So
Yeah.
It goes from heavy bleeding to cysts, or heavy bleeding to fibroids. And
Yeah.
this is where you see a lot of women start having hysterectomies, like talk about
Yeah.
hysterectomies
Yeah.
at the age of 30, 40,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous,
Yeah, they told me in my probably about 32 in my line. I think it was about 32. Most of the women that I interviewed, they just kind of, I mean, they had me calling everybody, call so and so. And I said, well, wait a minute. After you took your systems out, you still having issues? After you took your systems out, now you're thrown into early menopause. So you didn't solve the problem. You created a whole new problem. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
too young and beautiful for menopause. Like I feel like I have a couple more years. Like I'm not going to accept that story.
No.
Then you want to talk about just your relationships, right? How can you have a social life? You know, one of my biggest asks when I came through the program was I was like, I just want to be able to take stages and not be out of breath, right? We don't talk about how things like birth control increases your depression, increases your
Yes.
anxiety, does a lot of things like bone. You know, I'm not the science person, but one thing I do now is I read. I'm like, what is this? I think about the weight gain. I think about you eating to compensate for not feeling well. So a lot of my life, when
Yes.
we talk about weight, we talk about 300 pounds. I remember I have lost weight and I have the receipts, okay?
Yeah.
My blood pressure has decreased and I
Yes.
have the receipt. So you're not talking to somebody who's sitting up here saying, join a program. I'm telling you that the worries that I had over 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, 16 weeks, I don't have those worries anymore. My biggest concern is how many stages can I take in 2024? How many
Yes.
women's lives can I address? How many moms and daughters can I now say, hey, mom, you don't have to tell your daughter that anymore? That's what makes
Yes.
me proud. So yeah, we graze over it. Things like anemia. We
Right.
graze over you being lightheaded. That's a serious thing.
That's a serious thing. It's a serious when you gotta understand when you are anemic, right? What's going on is that your vital organs are not getting enough oxygen. We don't realize how serious this is. So and I just had a master class last week on heavily bleeding, how to ease your menstrual cycles naturally, right? This is so important. And I don't know when I'm gonna have another one, but I had a master class last week. So if you're not in my email list, get on my email list.
Yeah.
First of all, so you'll know when I'm doing things like this. But it's so important for you as a woman to understand your body, understand how
Yeah.
your hormones work. It's so important for you and to understand what is normal and what is not normal. Because a lot of women, that's another thing too, are totally disconnected from their bodies because of
Yeah. Yes.
all these because and this starts from puberty, totally
Yes.
disconnected from their bodies. And this is why it's so easy for you to get a reproductive health issue. And when your
Yes.
womb is out of alignment, when you're dealing with heavy bleeding and heavy cramps, and thinking, these are hormonal imbalances, right?
Mhm.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So I'll pick up while she's doing that. We talk a lot about self-care. We talk a lot about, and I find that as women, even if we're not mothers, we're always concerned about the next person. But I'm gonna challenge you, because in this year, you okay?
It was a kernel. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
was eating.
But in this
Excuse
year,
me.
I'm gonna encourage them. I'm gonna call them out. I want the women that are in this audience. How well do you take care of yourself? Like if we were to come, be that fly on the wall. How many of you guys set aside time for yourself? If we asked you right now, what is your stress level on a scale of 0 to
Yes.
5? Have you went past that the throttle?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
it's gonna come out. She told me that. If you're
Mhm.
stressed, we gotta work on your stress. We gotta work. Like I was like, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? What do you think your body is gonna like? We're training our body. I sleep when like that kind. We gotta stop.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop. Sorry, guys, I sound weird. I don't know what happened. I was eating kettle corn and then the kernel got stuck in my But anyway, I just want to say this. Like when it comes to your womb health, it's so important for you as a woman, right, to have a healthy womb. Healthy womb means that you're healthy. And when you have these fibroids, when you have this heavy bleeding, when you have this cyst, endometriosis, PCOS, this is a reflection of what's going on in your body. This is a full body issue. It's not just, it's a uterine issue. This is a full body issue. You heard Ashley, she had issues with her blood pressure. She had issues with her energy levels. She had issues with her depression, anxiety. All
All
this
of
stuff
it.
is hormonal. Also, all this stuff is hormonal. So I don't want you guys to think that it's just fibroids. Because I hear so many women tell me, "Oh, I'm healthy. I just have fibroids." No, you're not. This is a reflection of what's going on inside your body, right?
Yeah.
This is a reflection of your lymphatic system, your liver, right? Your digestive system. All this stuff. Your body works together in union. Your body, nothing is separate.
Yep.
So you, and also it's a reflection too. If your hormones are out of alignment, this means that you're also out of alignment. I just want
Yes.
you to understand that,
Yes.
because you have to understand your hormonal health. Like your hormones are also like your, like when it comes to your hormones, when you're balancing when your hormones are in disarray, this is affecting your brain chemistry, right?
I
So
believe
when
it.
you're taking things to like suppress your hormones, suppress your ovulation, i.e. birth control, this has an effect on so many different functions in your body. So I want to ask Ashley, like, how, okay, so coming into the program, I know that you came into the program and you were like, look, you were desperate. You were like, you need something. You did not want to go through the doctors because they weren't helping you, right?
No, they weren't.
So what do you say to women who, and we have some women in the comments who are going through this, but they think that, like, for example, they're scared to make a move as far as healing. Maybe they don't trust holistic medicine. That's one thing I always hear. Like they're more like, okay, maybe I should just do a hysterectomy, because that's one thing too. I hear a lot of women saying, I'm gonna have a
No,
hysterectomy, I'm gonna have a
no,
myomectomy. Like, how
no.
do you feel about
I,
women that are like, I would say skeptical of holistic healing, that their body can heal themselves?
Here's what I'll tell you, right? So I'm never one to argue with the person. Here's what I do as a coach, because I'm gonna expand your mind. How in the world can you put more faith in Western medicine in an individual straight up that you just met for 15 minutes, and in 15 minutes you're telling me that my next appointment I'm gonna be you're gonna be cutting me wide open, because that's what he told me he was going to do. You'll be in and out in a day or two. That person just lied to you for excess of about 30, 35. And that's if the operation goes well. They don't know your name. Hey, Monique, they do not know your name. They don't understand your lineage. They don't know anything about you. They don't know if you have children, but you're telling me you can trust this person. And in 15 minutes, they've already sold you into a $30,000 program. Houseway, that's how I would first say. The second thing, healing is your portion. I understand that we're not about holistic, but let me tell you something. In this season of my life, I have found so much joy and so much peace in figuring out and getting down to the root of it. When
Yes.
we put a band-aid on stuff, you best believe you're gonna have to go back around that mountain each and every time, which means that cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. My
Yes.
thoughts on it are, I understand that we have limited knowledge, right? I understand that you might be afraid. I know about that. But one thing that I knew, it was life or death. Please don't wait till you get to that point
Yes.
where you're sitting there and the person is convincing you, because that's what the physicians do, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're convincing you that if you don't fix this, you're going to die. Well, guess what? If you don't fix this, what do you think is going to happen?
Absolutely.
If you let them
Absolutely.
go in there and chop up and play with you, I say play with you, like chop
Yeah.
liver,
Yeah.
and then you're going to have to come and pay her anyways. We all know that. To me, Coach Sasha, it's never about the money. So
Never.
anybody that comes and tells me, Coach, I don't have, yes, you do. You have the money. If it was your best friend right now and you saw that woman about to pass out down those steps, you would sell oil, you would sell you would sell everything. I know I would for my friend, to make sure they never have to experience that.
Absolutely. And when it comes to exactly, and when it comes to that, when it comes to us not wanting to invest in our health, because that's one thing that, our people have a problem with when it comes to,
Them
because
ain't my
I get,
people. You know who my
yes,
people? My people are the ones that listen to this live and they get in
right,
your DM. Those are my
right,
people. And Coach
right,
Sasha, I see that for you. I'm like, those are the people. And I don't care. We got to do 55 of these lives, because you know
right.
what? Cut them loose. Those aren't our people. Cut them
So,
loose.
so when it comes to healing your womb, ladies, like, again, if your hormones are in disarray, that's a reflection of you. And this is like a detachment from your femininity as well. Because how do you thrive in your femininity when you're dealing with fibroids and heavy bleeding? And it's just almost impossible. As somebody that's been through that, and knows, literally my whole life revolved around my cycle. That is hell. That is no way to live. And I want to say this too for women, because I've had a lot of women in my
Hey,
inbox.
Yona.
I have a
Thank you
lot of
for
women.
following me. Sorry.
It's okay. I have a lot of women in my inbox for my 6-week womb healing intensive. Okay. So this is a one-time intensive that starts on January 1st. And I have people in my inbox, we've had people join, and I'm only taking literally a couple more ladies, right? of women who want to join, who work with me for 6 weeks, right? So if you're dealing with heavy bleeding, if you're dealing with cysts, if you're dealing with fibroids, even if you want to just enhance your fertility. I have a girl in my inbox that says she just wants the preventative methods. She just wants to do this to prevent anything from happening, you know?
Mhm.
So this, to me, that is the best, but you typically wait till something happens. But if you're going through any
Yeah.
type of hormonal issues, you need to be in that 6 week womb healing intensive. This is the only time I'm going to have it. This is not an ongoing thing. Now, the Detoxify Your Womb program, my top high level program, which you have to apply for, is a
Yes.
ongoing program, but this is not. So we start on the first, but we're taking people now, right, to secure your spot. So if you want to get in that, I need you to click the link in my bio. You'll see it. 6 week womb healing intensive is only $9.97, and we
Yeah.
take Klarna and Afterpay. So there's no excuses. Stop suffering. You don't have to suffer for the rest of your life. It's not because you're old. It's not because you're getting older. It's not. This is not normal. You bleeding heavily. You having cysts. You having fibroids. You having all these women health issues. It's not normal. Actually, literally by day 3 in my program, her bleeding
Yes.
stops.
Oh
By
yeah.
day
Yeah.
3, like, come on now.
I'm good. We got one question. Do you see that? It says, "What are
No, I
some
don't see.
healthy tips for women who've had a
Oh,
hysterectomy?"
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a second. Monique, we'll talk about that in a second. But I just want you to tell them what happened when you joined the
Oh
program. Literally, you went from in the hospital room in
yeah.
ER, and then you joined the program to
Yeah.
healing.
So
Right? I
you
helped her
know,
reset her cycle.
she
Go ahead.
had to like there was a cup of blood an hour. So imagine going from that every single day. And I say it literally closed up. I hate to say it like that, right? For closed-minded people, the goal of what they were trying to give me in the ER was some magic pill. I call it a magic pill that would cause my cycle. You know, your cycle is bad when you take it and it don't work, right? You're taking it and you're still bleeding. And so when I shared that with Coach Sasha, she said, "Hey, wait a minute. This is what this is for. Stop. I have something better for you." All right. I said, "Okay." Took that remedy, and I'm going to consider it a remedy, step by step treatment. And in 3 days, I had no more bleeding. Now, I thought it was a temporary thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, whoo, oh my, whatever. Then the next month came. I was like, well, wait a minute. She said, "Are you sure?" I said, I have not had it. I mean, my entire life changed. I tell Coach Sasha all the time, I feel like a new woman. Okay. Then I said, wow, when it did come, it was light.
There we go.
Instead of using the thick pads, I noticed that my back wasn't hurt. You know how your back started hurting a couple of days before you could kind of like, I got to kind of slow my roll because now it's going to change your whole life. I was able to
Mhm.
go to the beach. I've been able to go. If you guys follow my page, I come online. I show you, I'm at the park in the middle of the day. Like when I tell you guys, my whole life has completely changed. I have more energy. I'm more
Mhm.
excited. And I really say that I'm more so anchored to this world. I know that sounds
Yes.
horrible, but I think that when you have stuff like this going on and you don't have a permanent resolution, it's like, is my life going to be like this forever?
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's what
If
my experience has been like now.
I love that. And thank you so much for sharing that. And to go from bleeding 21 days a month for years, ladies, for
Yeah.
years, to go from now 3 day light, easy menstrual cycles, and also not even just from, the what we did, also resetting your cycle, also from, all the things you learned in the Detoxify Your Womb
Yes.
program, in the program. So this is a real healing. And I tell people, when you join my program, you have to be ready to do the work and to
Yes, you
transform
do.
into the better version of yourself. You can't just be wanting to still indulge in your bad habits. Not in this program. We have
No.
to undo all that stuff and rely on painkillers and all this all this craziness and emotionally eating and being unhappy with your life and be unhappy with where you are. We got to detach from that and transform into the better women, the better
Yes.
versions of ourselves. This is what this program, that's why I love seeing women go from literally struggling with their health all the way to soaring in every area of their life,
Yes.
after taking my program. So it's just such a blessing to be able to see women
Yes.
transform and to be able to build something that provides that for women, okay?
Yeah.
And knowing that when you heal your womb, you also heal your lineage because your daughters don't have to go through that stuff. Your
No.
daughter now, actually, her daughters don't have to go through all this pain on her cycle and
No.
heavy cycles, something she thought ran in her family.
Yeah. I mean, and think about the trauma that I mean, how can you say to your 7-year-old, "Oh, this is coming for you"?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, are you, mom? You look like you're gonna die, right? And then my oldest one
Mhm.
is, "Oh, you know how we do? You got to get up. You got to go to school." No more. No, I want you to change your life too from the inside out. So many of
from
us
the
just want to
inside.
look like we changed our life. You guys want these temporary things. When I went to Coach Sasha, like she said, one thing is I did the work. One thing that
Yes.
nobody will ever be able to say, I was crying and I was frustrated. And she was like, so you're going to come back next week? And I was like, I don't even really like you right now. Like, I'm going to just ignore you right now. But I came back and I kept coming back. And that's my best advice. When you enroll, because I
Yes.
know you guys are, I want to hear your success stories. I want you to think
Yes.
about me, somebody that they told me, you will have this for the rest of your life. That is the confidence that I had, even if I would have moved forward with the procedure.
Right. That's crazy because you know when they have these procedures, they have cysts reappear, they have the
Yeah.
fibroids reappear. So the procedure doesn't even get to the root cause of the problem, number one. And then you're just like you still have those toxins in your body. You still have what created the procedure in your body. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like
Yeah. Because cysts
they're just
burst.
temporary
They
fixes.
burst. If you don't
Yeah,
take, they burst inside your
yeah,
body. That's
they
what
do.
happens. And then
Just
you are
do.
in so much pain. And that's usually what causes people. My hope in this, Coach Sasha, is that these people don't wait. Please
Yeah.
take it from me. Don't make that 911 emergency call to a coach that, I mean, I literally was like, I know you don't know. I mean, I'm watching you. I've been binge watching all your lives, but it's come to a point now. I need a permanent solution.
Do not wait until you're dying, ladies, before
There you
you
go.
actually get help. Don't wait until you're dying until you get help. Please don't. It's not worth it. Like you're cheating yourself out of a fulfilling life. Okay? So if you're watching this and you want to work with me, you're ready to do the work. I have a 6-week womb healing intensive that starts January 1st. Now you do have to register now to secure your spot because again, we only have a couple more spots left. Okay, January 1st, I'm letting y'all go for Christmas and everything. January 1st, we work for these 6 weeks, right? If you're, it's 997. Card and aftercare we have available at checkout. It's no excuse. Get in the, if you know you need it, if you're listening to this and you know you've been dealing with heavy bleeding, you know you've been dealing with fibroids, cysts, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, PCOS, all these issues, or you know that you have maybe having fertility issues, you're not sure what's going on with your womb, your cycles have been all over the place, you're dealing with PMDD, PMS, you need to be in that 6-week intensive. You need to be in that. It's time for you to start healing your womb. It's
Yeah.
time for you to start your process of healing your womb. And if you want more information about it, it's in the link in my bio. But DM me. Let's talk about it, okay? Because here's the thing: you cannot go through life like this. You can't go into 2024 like this, right?
No.
How about we go into 2024 knowing this is the year I'm gonna get rid of my fibroids naturally without going through getting sliced open. This is the year I'm gonna get rid of my cysts. This is the year I'm gonna regulate my hormones. This is the year I'm gonna feel healthy and feel amazing. This is the year that it's
Can I
gonna
tell you
be.
something? This is gonna be
Oh,
the year I go on the beach with my little bathing suit and I'm fine, fine,
there we
fine.
go. There we go. And I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about planning my vacation around my cycle because my cycle was so damn heavy.
Yeah.
Like
That part.
and
A
be
whole little
imagine
couch
being
coming to the beach.
revitalized by spring. Exactly. 6 weeks is doable. Save
Yeah.
yourself. Thank you, Empress. Let them know. Let
Hey,
them
Fifth
know.
Ward Enterprises. Look at my little people, y'all. Sorry.
Yes.
Thank y'all for joining. Y'all make sure y'all share this live. I know that we have
Yes.
these courageous conversations. I know that people are afraid, but my thing, if we don't speak up, how you gonna get healed? You don't say nothing. They say, see something, say something. So I'm seeing it and I'm saying something. Anytime you need me to come on and share, I will always share.
Thank you. Thank
Always.
you. So I just want women to know it can literally go from, you Ashley was bleeding 21 days a month, heavily cramping, could not do normal daily tasks, was in and out of the hospital. She went from that to literally now having 3-day cycles that are easy. She does not need an overnight pad. She does not need, all these a whole bottle of painkillers. She don't need all that. She doesn't have to, go to sleep and think that she's gonna leak through her pad. You know,
Oh, yeah.
she could just buy regular pads, size pads. So this is really important. Like you need to regain your life, control of your life. Because
Yes.
if you are heavily bleeding, you don't have no control over your life. You
No.
don't have to, if you have fibroids, sis, you don't have control over your life. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay. So I didn't want this live to be super long.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm not gonna
I
say anything
wanna
else.
right. If you have anything else to say, if you want to let the people know how you feel now, as opposed to how you felt before. And then yeah.
So here's what I would say. I feel worthy. I think that they say that the workman should be worthy of the reward and the work. I feel like I'm honored. I believe in giving people their flowers while they're here. I am honored to have collided with you. I will say that, like I said, when I first, I was like, but now I can tell you that when I go in the grocery store, I make decisions about my future now. I'm not just eating now. What do I usually say? I think some of us live to eat, right? That's who I used to be. So we're talking about total transformation. And now I eat to live. I think that when you conscientiously decide to put yourself first, I feel like $1,000,000. It's the best gift that I could have ever given myself this year. Out of all the coaches I have hired, this is one of the quickest, most, when you talk about ROI, when you're talking about getting your life back, when you're talking about making changes for your legacy. Oh, she says it's going to be replayed on Facebook.
No, not on Facebook, hon.
Nope.
On, yeah, no,
Instagram.
Facebook. Yeah, Instagram.
I think that I'm going to leave them with this. How much is that worth to you? If I was to say to you, this could be yours too, instead of me being the one coming up here talking about it, this could be you in my seat, right? This could be you in Coach Sasha's seat. How much would that be worth for you to have that conversation with your daughters? To me, it was priceless. And so that's my best encouragement for you guys while we're out here running to January 1. I want you to really write down on a sheet of paper, what would your life look like if you didn't have this issue? I can't promise you all the rest going to erase. But I can tell you 7 or 8 erased from my plate with me taking care of this one thing. And I'm going to leave that with you guys. I'm Coach A. Marie. It's been amazing serving you guys. Like I said, I'm looking forward to my hot girl summer. Okay.
Yes, yes. There we go. Without heavy bleeding, without cysts, okay? That's how it should be, ladies. That's how it should be. So if you're looking to be cyst free, fibroid free, and having regular menstrual cycles where you're not bleeding for more than 7 days, or a lot of women are even 5 days is too much, honestly.
Yes.
If you're looking for to have regular menstrual cycles, right, that are balanced hormones, cyst-free wombs, fibroid-free wombs, okay? You need to be in that 6-week womb healing intensive. We start in 2 weeks, literally in 2 weeks, okay? How long did wait to see the progress of your fibroids? So she didn't have fibroids, she has cysts. She hasn't checked her cysts yet, but her symptoms are so good that I'm sure they're gone. But go ahead, Amy Marie, you
Yeah.
want to talk?
So I learned of my cyst as a result of this. The cyst has been sitting there. They gave me the I don't know, you have to correct me. I know it was 4 something. I don't know centimeters. I don't know inches. I
4
don't know how
centimeters.
that works.
Yeah.
4 centimeters, right? That's when they scheduled me for a follow-up to have the conversation about it. Where I jumped off the train is when I met the guy for about first of all, I waited in the lobby for about 15 minutes. He brought me back to the office and I sat there for 15 minutes. And then he told me about a clinical study. He said, I tell you what we'll do. We'll put you up on the operating table. And while we're in there looking around, we'll go ahead and snip out that cyst. I said, well, how did it get there? Is there anything that you can share with me? How am I going to prevent it in the future? He said, oh, don't worry about that. When we get in there, we'll take care of everything. It's an in and out process. You'll be able to. I said, wait a minute, it's just me. I said, I'm going to have to drive myself. I'm a mom. I said, oh, no, you'll be walking off the table. I left from that room. It wasn't even literally a room to go to a scheduler. I said, well, ma'am, what are we doing? Oh, we're going to go ahead and get you scheduled for such and such. So like she said, I'm so confident. I know that it's reduced and it's shrink because I'm not experiencing some of the same symptoms. I don't have that pressure weighing down. Like I would have so much pressure weighing down that I had to use the bathroom. Like you know how that pressure is sitting on top of you, you feel like it's on your bladder. I don't have any of those symptoms. So I do my next appointment is scheduled right around my birthday. It's in January.
Oh,
And I'm going to let Coach Sasha know, but I'm confident every time that I have went back, which I went back 4 to 6 times, every time that I went back, my blood pressure has been significantly decreased. My weight loss, I think I've lost over 25 pounds in the program. Like I said, looking good,
yes,
feeling good, okay?
yes.
And then my health, because every time that you go, they ask you, how are you feeling on a scale of 0 to 10? So for me, those were the priorities. The priority was stopping the bleeding. We're not talking about reducing the bleeding. What I said is the priority was stopping it, getting it back to a healthy number. And then I'm going to go back and give Coach Sasha the numbers for my cyst. But I'm almost 100%. And that's if it even exists. It may be
Yeah,
non-existent. I may get up there and they tell me they don't see anything. But guess what? I would have did a $30,000 operation with no
that's
imagery.
crazy.
I had no imaging, y'all. I had nothing but printed out records that I was able to share with her. And we literally were sitting there trying to interpret what they said. So I'm good. But fibroids are
Absolutely.
serious. Like she said, if you
Mhm.
suspect any of those things, make sure you get your questions answered. I wanted to make sure that we had a live conversation. I want you guys to feel comfortable. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
And I do want to say this to Beauty by TLH. So I want to answer the hysterectomy question too, if Monique is still on here. But when it comes to fibroids, right? Cysts shrink a lot easier than fibroids. But when it comes to fibroids, I don't like to put a time limit on how long it's going to take to dissolve and shrink. But I have had clients that have shrunken a 6 centimeter fibroid within 3 months, right? So it just depends on how she actually threw herself into work. When it comes to the program, she didn't play. So it depends on how consistent you are. Now I'm a coach, I'm a good coach, I'm gonna stay on you. But it depends on you letting your limited beliefs get in the way. I tell people, if you do not believe in holistic healing, the Detoxify Your Womb program is not for you. If you still have, because we've been so heavily indoctrinated thinking that only surgery works and only, Western medicine works. If you are still brainwashed and you can't come out of that, it's not for you. It's not for you. People that say, well, I don't trust holistic healing, or, our bodies can heal itself if you provide the right environment for it. I'm like, it's not for you then. It's not, so those type of people, again, they just continue to suffer because it becomes a reoccurring issue. You have the surgery, you get it again. You have the surgery, you get it again. Like, nobody wants to go through that, right? You deserve better than that. You deserve real healing. And you need to trust in your body's ability to heal itself when you provide the right environment for it to do so. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to,
Forever. Forever.
yes,
Monique,
and
are you
not
on
just
here,
for a
girl?
day.
I was trying to see if Monique was on here.
Yeah, Monique, if you're here, let me know so I can answer the hysterectomy question. But as far as that, that's pretty much it, ladies. Listen, if you want, like I said, if you're on here, you want to heal your womb, you're ready to do the work to get rid of your heavy bleeding, okay, to regulate your menstrual cycles, you are wanting to go for, just like, Ashley, just like me, just like all my other clients, 3 day, easy,
Yes.
painless cycles, okay, with no symptoms, okay, that's
None.
how it should be. Fibroid free wombs, cyst free wombs. If that is you're listening to this, you need to get in my inbox, or you can click the link in my bio and check out my 6 week womb healing intensive. We start on the 1st. That's literally in 2 weeks. Okay,
Yes.
you need to be there. I'm going to
Yes.
teach you everything you need to know to heal your womb. You're going to be implementing everything that you're going to be implementing everything with my guidance for 6 whole weeks. You have direct access to me. Okay. You also get excuse me, to the Detoxify Your Womb, ladies. That's my signature high level elite program. Okay,
Yes.
so if that's you, it's $9.97. Again, Klarna and Afterpay. Again, you can click the link in my bio and sign up. Secure your spot now because we only have a couple spots left. We start the first of the year, right after Christmas. Give yourself the gift of healing your womb in 2024. Okay, no
Yes.
excuses. All right. So that's it. Does anybody have
Let
any
me get
last minute questions before we go?
drop them now. Don't wait. Don't get them inbox. I already told Coach Sasha, y'all come in my inbox. I'm sending y'all to Coach Sasha. Okay. I don't know nothing. All I know is when I
I don't
came
know
to
why people
her,
do
I had
that.
21 days, and now I'm no longer tormented. You know what I mean? I'm no longer fearful. I'm no longer worried. I actually embrace it. I'm like, oh my, what? You know, that's a much better feeling than going into the physician's office and their chart is so long for you. Where do you want to begin? Woo! What are we working on today? I am so confident now. And so I'll leave you guys with that. Drop your questions. No question is a silly question.
All
Drop
right.
it.
Anybody has any questions? We'll go now.
We're done.
But
Night.
if you guys join the 6 week womb healing intensive, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.